Checking on everything else. X is live. Awesome. I'll try to keep notifications open on that. And then let's double check LinkedIn. Give people a couple minutes to jump on. Yep, live on LinkedIn. Awesome. LinkedIn really needs a better live platform. I do not like the way that they do things. It's confusing. It's hard to click on. It's hard to see the comments. I'm not even sure if it ranks anywhere. I'm not even sure if anybody's seeing it. Not great. X is working on a better update for that too, but it'll get there. Of this, I am confident. All right, let's put on some music for the first minute here. What did we play last week? Driving cars, I think. Try this one. All right, I have to get some more music because that one and the one that I played last week and probably the week before, although it was on mute, are pretty much the only tracks that I have in here on the on as far as the media deck for things that I can play. Let's get this started. Welcome back to Tech for Work, where I discuss the things I found interesting in the tech and business world this week. My name is Jesse Nowlin. I'm your host and the founder of tabGeeks. I filmed 3 videos yesterday and therefore don't have a script ready to go for you. So this one will be a little bit more off the cuff, which is why I don't like filming on Mondays. Also, the gardener comes for my house and all the houses surrounding me, and so it's like hours of just cutting grass, which really doesn't sound great as a background track for when you're trying to record. So I generally do try to avoid that, and I actually had to wait until like later in the day. So I finished writing my notes for the videos, and then was able to jump on and start filming. My twins, the little kids, had a doctor's checkup, so it was just like crazy day. That's why I don't have a script. So I apologize. Hopefully this will be fun because it's more off the cuff, and I've got a whole lot of stuff to talk about. Hopefully one of the videos that I filmed yesterday will come out today. If not, I've got some other things in the pipeline that I can put out for this week as well. It's been a crazy month. It's been a crazy couple of weeks here, and we had another monster week in the books. News has been absolutely insane lately. One thing I did was move my microphone off the main part of the desk to a secondary part of the desk. It has like a separation with a metal tray in the back to be able to hold monitor stands and speakers and cables and all that. And so hopefully you won't hear as much of the bongs or the banging that happens on the microphone in the past because what do you call it? Because it's been moved. It's no longer on the main part of the desk, and it won't reverberate through the mic arm as much. And I'm just realizing I made a cup of coffee and I left it in the other room. So, oh well. I guess I'll have to warm that up and drink it later. That's what happens. Let's see what else is going on here. Oh, okay. Checking. There's a bunch of people on the stream. Awesome. No comments there. Let's keep going. Last week I did 3 videos again. Generally, this is not the pace that I would like to keep going at. It's not really sustainable. It is a lot of work to put out 3 videos in a week, two big ones, 3 big ones, and a live. Last week I did 3 big ones and a live. My goal is to do 2 full length, which can be, 10, 15 minute videos, as well as the live show, which I do every week up here at around 10 o'clock. This week should be the last week, hopefully, that it is at 10:30, and next week we should be going back to the 10 o'clock time slot, because I won't be going to take my daughter to therapy every day, so a little bit more freedom in my time, and the kids will be off to school, and things will be quiet around here, which I could really use some quiet. Quiet is good. Routine is awesome. Ubiquiti, it seems, is not slowing things down. They had a monster week 2 weeks ago and another big week last week, and that was a very loud street cleaner that just went by, so hopefully you didn't hear that too bad. But we got new phones, new Ubiquiti Talk phones, and that was the first video that I put out last week that I want to talk about here. I'm actually going to unplug this because it doesn't reach that far, but I can show it on the camera here. This is the new G3 Touch Pro, and it has the wireless handset as well, which, by the way, is twice as loud as the previous generation. So if you didn't like the previous generation phones or weren't happy with the sound quality because it was too quiet, that has been fixed, and this is now a significantly louder speaker on the phone. So awesome there. I know some people were excited about that as well. I will link my video to the full review of the G3 Touch Pro and Talk 3.0 in the show notes, but essentially here, and I can share my tab here. If you haven't seen the video, let me pull this up, share screen, and this tab. So we got G3 Access, we did that as well. Where are we here? Integrations and Talk. So we got 3 different phones added to the lineup here. You got the G3 Touch Pro, the G3 Touch Enterprise, and the G3 Touch Wall, as well as the G3 wireless handset, which is this one here. Which, by the way, I didn't realize this until I had it. It is amazing what a difference having a cordless handset on a phone makes for as far as cleanliness. It just looks so much cleaner because there's not this literally curled chaos of a cord that is sitting on your desk. You just have the clean base. It goes, oops, sorry, it goes onto the phone itself and just hooks on and doesn't have any extra cord there, which really looks very nice on the desk. So if you are interested in that, I definitely recommend picking up the G3 wireless handset. It will be available in a week or two, couple weeks, as will be the G3 Touch Enterprise and the Touch Wall. The Touch Pro, which is the one I just showed, is available right now. It's still available. It's in the cart, as you can see here, and it's got that 5-inch screen. It does have a new anti-reflective coating on the screen, which makes a major difference as well. Just holding it up next to the previous generation, which I have as well, you can definitely tell the difference between them. It's still a sharp screen. It's bright. It looks good. And it's powered by PoE, just like the previous generation. The other major difference that I noticed here, and they're showing it in their little video, is that the privacy shutter is now a physical button that's inside, or a physical slider rather, that's inside the top of the phone, as opposed to the sticker that was on last generation. So for more details on that, go and check out my full video. Then the other 2 devices that are on here is the Enterprise and the Wall. The Touch Wall is made to just be affixed flat to a wall, which is definitely a use case for a lot of people. It's used in schools, used in industrial settings, on the wall in warehouses, etc., and not necessarily on a desk. Why they don't have one that just can convert from a desk to the wall, I don't know. When they send me one, I guess we'll find out. It probably has something to do with this mounting bracket. Maybe in the next generation, they'll just have one that'll have a convertible mounting kit that goes along with it. We'll see. And I don't know anything to that, anything in advance in that regard, so I couldn't tell you for sure. That's just a thought of mine. And then the Touch Enterprise is also, it's a 7-touch display, and can do everything that the other phones can do. The big thing here is that they're opening up the Talk platform, so now you're going to be able to use what they call Talk Relay to connect to any third-party PBX platform and use the phones with those. And so that is them opening up the product line and being able to use Ubiquiti phones with pretty much any PBX platform that is out there in wild. So, and then the G3 handset, as I was showing you, is a cute little screen on it to show you the connectivity and the battery on it, as well as a couple of other buttons on there, just your usual stuff. And that'll be available, like I said, in February. So that's that on the Ubiquiti side. And next up was a major announcement from Google. Gemini is being included in the Google Workspace licenses, and Google Workspace licenses are getting a price increase. Now, the price increase isn't that bad. The previous pricing for the add-ons, for the main AI add-ons, were $20 for the business plan and $30 for the enterprise plan, and that's per month per user. Now, what they're doing instead is giving everybody from a certain tier and above. I think it's standard, business standard and above. I could be wrong, so don't quote me on that, but it's definitely not frontline. I haven't seen frontline or education or nonprofit have any indication on that, but I guess stay tuned on that front. But essentially, instead of paying $20 or $30 a month for business and above to get access to AI, all of the AI feature set, etc., they are rolling it out to everybody in Google Workspace that has that license, business standard and above, and they are building it into the cost of each individual license to the tune of, well, for standard, I think it's an extra $2 a month, and it's a more dollars per month for the larger business tiers, and then enterprise pricing is the same black hole that enterprise pricing usually is. You have to get in touch with a reseller, and you have to get in touch with Google, and you have to negotiate, and that's only for generally for larger domains, 500 seats and above, I think. The pricing update is not affecting any tiny companies. So 1 to 10 seats in Google Workspace are not getting a price increase yet. It's likely at some point that will happen. But I think for the larger ones, they rolled that out. This has upset quite a bunch of people because for the business tiers, they just turned it on. If you had Gemini turned on, they turned it on, rolled it out for everybody. No notice, no real information like, hey, this is coming. They just we're launching this and it's rolling out today, and it started rolling out to everybody. The enterprise folks got another couple of weeks. I think towards the end of the month here is likely when that is going to go live and take effect for the enterprise folks. And I have heard that there are some folks who have managed to disable that and turn that off by getting in touch with Google support. Apparently, there's a button. It's not enabled unless you ask for it. So get in line. I recommend usually getting in touch with the overnight support team. They're in Ireland. They tend to be very, very good and responsive, and less people are asking for support because it's the middle of the night in the US. And that's generally when I do, like 11 o'clock, I'll start hopping on a chat. Or even earlier because I'm in Pacific time. So, 10, 9 o'clock here is midnight on the East Coast. So, definitely, if you are concerned about needing more time or not wanting that enabled for your domain, then get in touch with support and you are able to disable it that way. Yeah, the link to the video will be in the show notes, and I have a lot more details in there, so definitely go and check that out. And then the third video that I put out last week was you've heard me talking about testing XR glasses, and I've released my first video pitting Xreal's last generation Air 2 Pros against the new Xreal ones, and it's a good video. I think it came out really well. I like it a lot, and I'm planning to do more in that regard. Also, still working on my video of is XR, which is the kind of bucket term for virtual reality and augmented reality and everything in between. Is XR ready for work? And the goal there is to explore, as I mentioned in a couple of past shows here, is to explore whether you can replace kind of the desktop class setup when you're on the go through the use of virtual or augmented reality, whether it's glasses or it's a full headset Vision Pro. I might have to go and check out some of the other ones that are out there. Now that I put this Xreal video out, people have been asking me about the Rocket glasses, which is another competitor. So I guess once you get into this, you get in deep. I also tried out the Meta Ray-Bans, and I hated them. I mean, they were great as far as putting a camera on your face and a voice assistant that you can always talk to, but the set that I was using wasn't fitted for me. It was for my brother-in-law whose head is bigger than mine, and so the wearing the glasses gave me a headache. And I'm not sure if it was giving me a headache because they were much bigger than they should have been, and therefore did not rest on my face correctly as they were designed, or if because I was consciously knowing that I'm wearing a camera on my face, if I was using my head as a gimbal, and so therefore it was not moving my head naturally or like I normally would, and maybe that was causing the headache. I'm not sure which it is, but either way, I could only wear them for short periods of time. That being said, I went to Disneyland and I wore them on some of the rides, and I was able to go down like the log flume, for example, and recorded the whole thing. Also, well, not the whole thing because it only records in 3-minute clips and it only records in the Instagram Square, which both things annoyed me, but I guess that's the lock-in platform. That's what they like to have. So I think that the form factor is phenomenal. I wish the glass part of the glasses wasn't on there, kind of like Google Glass back in the day, where it was just the frames. It looks more stupid, but I don't wear glasses, so either make them full blown sunglasses, which, as I understand and I wasn't wearing the sunglasses ones. I was just wearing like the regular see through ones. But the sunglasses ones, I understand, are not even that dark of sunglasses, and I like very dark. I like full, basically dark mode, um, polarized, highly polarized lenses. The sun is very bright out here in Southern California, and those are not the kinds of lenses that they have on the Meta Ray Bans. So hopefully the next generation will be better. Of course, it will be. Hopefully they'll have some kind of a solution for people like me who don't wear glasses. But if you do wear glasses, having those is basically a no-brainer because then you always have a camera on your face where you can just snap a quick picture. The downward firing speakers are pretty good. Also, the experience for phone calls is better because instead of having AirPods where the speakers are all the way back up by your ears and away from your mouth, the best quality sound you're going to get from a microphone, whether it's glasses or AirPods or a desktop microphone like this, is when it's as close as possible to your mouth. Now, what they did with the Meta glasses is actually very interesting. Is because they're on your face, they put speakers in the bridge that sits on your nose, and so therefore you have two. Sorry, not speakers, microphones. You have two microphones on the top that is actually quite close proximity to your mouth, and so it does a very good job of picking up your sound coming out of your mouth and canceling out outside sounds. Whereas AirPods or other in-ear headphones have to work a lot harder to cancel that sound out, and so therefore it starts to sound garbled and messed up at times. I think the AirPods are pretty good at doing that. I haven't tested all the other ones out there, but I understand it's something that everybody struggles with, and even with a headset for work, for example, and these are the Jabra. The hell are they called? I don't remember. It's been a while since I looked up the name of these, but they're the small over ear headphones. But always, I prefer to have one that has a microphone boom arm here because again, that moves the microphone closer to your mouth, and so it is easier to pick up more full sound and not have to cancel out as much of your ambient noise there. So those are the videos that I put out last week, and a little bit of an extra bit because I haven't put out a video talking about the Meta Ray Bans because I didn't think it was a fair review, given that the ones I had didn't fit my face and were giving me headaches and so on. It wasn't wouldn't be fair to all of you to put that out there without fully and properly testing it. Okay, on to something that is a very interesting topic to me. It's not quite tech for work because it's a television and it's not going to be used for work per se, but it is um, business and it is a tech item. It is the Telly TV, which you've heard me talk about in the past. I'm going to move my camera around here. I have it. I have it up. It's installed, and it's weird. It's interesting. I like it. It's a lot higher quality than I thought it was going to be. Um, on the top here, you've got, and this is just a quick review, because I haven't filmed anything for this. Actually, I filmed setting it up, but that's it. On the top here, you've got a normal 55-inch. Here, where's my camera? You have a normal 55-inch TV screen, HD theater display, whatever the hell they call it. And then in the middle, you have a speaker bar, which actually sounds pretty damn good. I was playing some Spotify on it before, playing some Rush, some Shine Down, usually what I play when I want to rock out. And in the middle of that speaker bar is a webcam with a physical door over it. So you have the privacy shutter on there. There are a lot of privacy questions about this, but it just occurred to me. I didn't check which mic I was using. Hopefully I'm using the right one. Yes, I am. Okay, great. There are a lot of privacy questions about this TV because, well, one of the selling points or one of the reasons why it's free is they take a lot of your data and sell it. So I'll get to that in a moment. You'll see something that you don't normally see on other TVs is a bottom screen, and this is their innovation. I think it's very interesting. There is an ad that's playing over on the right hand side all the time, constantly. It doesn't go away, and that's annoying because it's just always there and it's always distracting. And I don't really like that. But that is one of the reasons why it's free is because they're making money off an ad that's constantly being shown to you. It also has some very interesting and useful features on there, such as having stock information, having the weather, having the breaking news, etc., all on that lower panel, regardless of what you're watching. And I haven't tested it to the point to find out if that actually um, changes based on what you're watching, or if it dims out. Say, for example, you're watching a movie, you don't want that panel being super bright when you're watching a movie or watching a TV show. And I can imagine that that would be very frustrating. And it definitely requires more testing. This is a major rethink of that bottom screen. There's got to be ways to turn that off if you are watching something immersive, though, because that's just going to ruin the experience there. So I'll continue testing this. It is a very nice screen. I Just for funsies, this definitely would break the terms and conditions if I did it ongoing. But I went into my Ubiquiti firewall and tapped on the device to see where the majority of the traffic was going, and it's an AWS service that it's going to. And so I blocked that just to see what would happen. And it did actually prevent the ad from refreshing. But as a result, it didn't get rid of the ad. The same ad just kept playing over and over and over and over and over again. So I didn't actually solve anything. And they thought of that. So don't do that. But I thought that was just interesting as more and more of these are rolling out. People are going to be interested in doing that. Now, the concept here, if you're not familiar with them, is that it's a free TV in exchange for lots of your data. Now, how are they gathering all of that data is question number one. What are they doing with that data? Where's it going? Who are they selling it to? Those are also questions. Are they gathering data outside of just the surveys and stuff that they asked when I was signing up, as well as the ads that are on the screen here, both on their home portal, which they have like a homepage with a kind of a, I wouldn't quite call it a shopping network, but kind of like a your DirecTV menu screen where they have just somebody from the network update or whatever. They have their own version of that, and there's a lot of ways that they can be making money off of this, and that's great. I just got to make sure that they're not literally recording every single thing that I say and tapping into everything that I'm doing here and searching devices on the network. It is on a VLAN that is totally locked down and is not able, it's isolated. It's not able to get to other devices on the network because there are some security concerns there, obviously. So I think it's a very interesting business, and it turns out I'm one of the first households in the country to get the TV. So what the hell? I'm going to do a review video on it and share my thoughts and concerns as well. And we'll see where it goes from here. Looking over at the comments here, Terry Johnson says, can't wait to see how they integrate into MS Teams and the wireless handset. Of course, Terry is talking about the Ubiquiti phone. Back to that. Sorry, Terry, for not getting to your comments until now. I just saw that, and yeah, it should be very interesting to see how Ubiquiti is going to accomplish that because I mean, personally, I don't like Teams at all. Like, don't shut down TikTok, shut down Teams, right? I'm a big fan, as you know, of Google Workspace, but a lot of people use Teams, and I don't know. Are there dedicated hardware for Teams? Is it any good? Is the Ubiquiti phone better? Um, Let me know. It's. I guess I should probably look into that some more and see what the rest of the market looks like. But it will be interesting to see if these phones work well with that and how easy it is to set up. I've seen from some other folks out there that it is pretty easy. I think Mac Telecom did a video on setting up to one PBX out there with Relay. I have access to a Ring Central installation, so I can, or PBX rather, whatever. So I can probably tap into that and see if I can make a video on setting that up and see what that looks like. But I haven't done that yet, so I'm not fully versed on that. Okay, on to other things in the news. There was a whole bunch of stuff going on. Both Blue Origin and SpaceX launched their test flights of their rockets. One landed, one exploded. Well, technically, Blue Origin didn't land. It was mostly successful, but the rocket did not make it down to the drone ship, and it was not able to be captured. And that one, I believe, did explode at that point. SpaceX, on the other hand, launched Starship, and the booster did come back and did land, but unfortunately, Starship, which is the top part itself, exploded in space and created quite a light show over Turks and Caicos, I believe. And there's a lot of really cool videos on that out there if you're interested. Both missions a resounding success because that's what their aim is to test, right? They successfully tested their new devices and their new mega rockets, and it's great that SpaceX finally has some competition in the space so that first of all, Amazon can start launching their Starlink competitor, um, Coupure. Coop. I always forget the name on that. Coupier. I'll have to look that up. Um, but we want some competition because competition for these things is always good. It makes people continue innovating and working harder, and generally tends to drive prices down. So, looking forward to that. And Amazon folks, if you're listening and you are interested in having me test, I would love to test the new constellation and the new satellite hardware once it's up. I do have one of the top performing Starlink videos on the internet and has I think about to hit 1 million views. So, what's the Amazon Coup Coupier? How the hell is that pronounced? Kuiper. Project Coupier. They should really have something on their page on how that's pronounced. I'll look that up later. But essentially, it is, and I can share my screen here so that you all can see. It's their answer to SpaceX's Starlink, and essentially they have to send up a whole mess load of satellites. They're going for 3,000 satellites, also in low Earth orbit, and will have similar looking dishes. I understand that some of their dishes are smaller than the existing SpaceX ones, than the Starlink ones. So that's going to be pretty cool. They have been kind of waiting for the ULA, the United Launch Alliance, to get their things together and let them launch, and that hasn't worked out so well. And Blue Origin hasn't gotten there yet until just very recently. They have started launching some things over on SpaceX, which is an interesting dynamic because Jeff Bezos, who owns Amazon, also owns Blue Origin, and until recently was not best friends with Elon. But they've been getting chummy all week at the inauguration, which we'll talk about shortly here. But this is now that Blue Origin has that launch capacity and will likely continue doing this, and probably I would guess the next test flight is going to include the launch of some of these Kuiper satellites because they desperately want to get them into space. And what better way to continue testing than to use with your own hardware, just like what SpaceX does with Starlink. A lot of the test missions that they've done, not with the Starship yet, although I'm sure that's coming, they have done that with the previous launches of of other rockets that they have built over time. So looking forward to this. Like I said, anybody at Amazon, if you're listening, I would love to test this and run it through its paces and take it up into the mountains and see how well it performs. So that's the news on both of those fronts here. I already talked about Gemini AI for all, which is what they're calling it, where it's Gemini is coming to all Google Workspace plans, pretty much all, not all, but most of. And so let's see what else is going on here. Again, I'm off script here because I did not get a chance to finish making a script because I was busy filming other videos yesterday. So I have a bunch of notes here though, and let me just get to what's going on. Big shout out to the wireless carriers, AT&T, T-Mobile, and I believe Verizon as well, have all been out here in the Los Angeles area and have set up their trailers, their emergency prep and disaster relief trailers, which basically is a cell phone tower on wheels. We've seen these rolled out in various forms, and Kuiper, Terry says. Sorry, I got distracted. They've rolled out these trailers in various forms and upgraded them over the years, and it has been a really big help to a lot of people because cell service in the whole fire affected region is completely offline. Now, thankfully, it's LA, so you can just drive into LA a bit more and you'll be able to get cell service. But in the areas where people are trying to look at things in their homes and communicate with folks and whatnot, there's basically no service there because the fiber optics and the equipment is all literally fried. So big shout out to them. Also, we got a new Nintendo Switch, sort of. And this is business news because I say it is, because I love the Switch and I really want a new one. And my thoughts on it are, it looks amazing. And if you haven't seen it, they announced it without announcing it because whatever. That's how Nintendo does things for some reason. And oops, I don't know if that actually sent this one through. Sharing my screen on that, but it's the it's a larger screen. We don't know much details about it. They have it's a teaser video, essentially. It's a 2-minute long teaser video. The Joy-Cons are now magnetic. They clip on, they snap on. Theoretically, there might be some mouse capabilities on there where you can put them face down on a table and use them as a mouse, which may be good for some of their previous games or other games or new games. I don't know. The kickstand is redone. There's now a USB-C on both the top and the bottom, which is great because it's a real pain in the butt if you are using it and you want to charge it, or you want to plug in a accessory for it and you can't because you have it standing freestanding. And it would, and previously, for anybody who's used a Switch since 2017, that space would be blocked. So then you had to kind of MacGyver your cable to get in there, and so that is presumably solved now. And we're not going to know more until April 2nd. So stay tuned on that. It is very exciting. And Nintendo, if you didn't cram in a whole bunch of new, high quality, powerful hardware in there, I'm going to cry. Yes, I'm going to buy it anyway. Please just let me play Zelda Tears of the Kingdom without it taking an hour to load and cutscenes that take forever and so on. As well as, I would love to also see some more updated Pro controllers. So that'd be cool. Haven't seen anything on that yet, just on the Switch here. A little bit more rugged would be nice. It does look like the design is a bit more industrialized and refined than the. I have the OLED version, so as I understand it, it's even the original version was even worse. So um, looking forward to that. Stay tuned. There are some actual launch events that they're going to be doing in LA, New York, and I forget where else. And you can actually apply for tickets to those. A random drawing. I imagine, of course, reporters will be at those as well. I'm not going to be able to be at one of those because I think it's happening either while I'm at a conference or over a Jewish holiday or both. So definitely not going to be making it to that. So moving on from there, let's see what else we have to talk about. Obviously, the wildfire stuff is still going on. Shout out to another YouTube channel that I am a fan of, and I actually took their course, Colin and Samir. Both of them had new homes in the Palisades, and both of them, their wives are both pregnant, and they both completely lost their homes. And Samir was actually on CNN, and I saw that live, and I was like, "Oh shit, it's Samir!" And he brings some of the emotion and the raw feeling that is going on there, and it's just terrible. So if you know anybody going through that, send them hugs and prayers and possibly donations. And there's a lot of advice on how to approach that and how to handle that online. So I'm not going to go through that here because I'm not an expert on any of that, crisis management, etc. Um, but just know that folks around the world, our thoughts and prayers are with all of them as they continue to work through and recover from that. Okay, let's see what else we've got going on. I already talked about talk and SpaceX and the glasses. And oh, TikTok. I guess we can talk about TikTok. TikTok has had a wild week. Essentially, if you've been living under a rock, the U.S. government banned TikTok and anything made by the company that owns TikTok, also known as ByteDance, which also included CapCut, which is the editor that they had released for TikTok, as well as a bunch of other apps, including a Marvel game of some sort that was made by a game studio that is owned by TikTok. And um, TikTok did not have to technically go dark and totally shut down its servers. They could have just been slower and more degraded service, which is what a lot of people thought was going to happen. Instead, TikTok basically pulled the plug for all American accounts and put messages on there saying, "This is what happened," and it shut down. And then at one point, they were saying hopefully Trump will help them, and then they got rid of that message, and then they brought back a different message. And the at the end of the day, the app stores, Google Play and the Apple App Store, are still, as of 11:05, and I can try it on my phone here now, not allowing the download of TikTok if you don't already have it on your phone. And the reason why it's different now, yeah, it's still the same on the Apple App Store. The reason why it's a little bit different now as opposed to a couple of days ago is the fact that Trump. Well, yesterday was inauguration day. Again, if you're living under a rock, yesterday was inauguration day. Trump is president again. That's the news. And he signed about 30,000 executive orders. I think the number was north of 200 in actuality. And one of them was to push back the deadline for the ban on TikTok for 90 days so that they could work something out. That being said, um, that's an executive order. It's not technically the law, so it's up to the different companies. Apple and Google haven't reinstated it in the app stores yet, but Oracle and Akame, I think, is the other server provider for TikTok. I mean, it seems to be back online, so I guess the servers are providing service once again. But some are saying that that is technically a risk. Like theoretically, they could be on the hook for hundreds of thousands, if not millions and hundreds of millions of dollars, because they get charged thousands of dollars or $1,000, whatever it is, for each individual person who downloads and uses it. So I can understand Apple and Google not wanting to have that on their app stores and not have it. Um, not be liable for that, even if Trump has said that he's not going to prosecute. So, as a result of all of that, X and Facebook and or X and Meta and a bunch of others have all rolled out dedicated video tabs and are trying to replicate the process and bring back some of the audiences that have over the years left for TikTok onto the platforms. Meta even went as far as to announce that you had all this time to work on it and you're still working on it. You didn't want to have that ready for release day there, Meta, for your app. Okay, that's a choice, I suppose. Um, Video on X, I'm very happy to hear. I'm not really big on TikTok, so for me, it's not that big a deal. But eh, oh, why does it say I'm offline? Hopefully, that's only my test track. But essentially, anywhere that a platform says, "Hey, we're getting into video," is good for video creators like me because that. Okay, looks like I'm coming back online. I don't know what happened there. That was weird. I think that something on my test rack just may have gone offline, and I was plugged in directly to that. To be fair, I have been playing around with a new internet connection and cabling. So now I'm on my primary Wi-Fi, which seems to be happy. Um, Sorry about that. That was very annoying and weird. I don't know where I cut off, and I guess we'll just move on. So good times. Um, Great. Moving on from there. Yesterday was inauguration day, and Trump is president once again. And it was very entertaining watching all of the different social media sites during the inauguration and during the festivities, basically overloading as they tried to stay online and deal with the massive amounts of people that were talking about all of these things. And it was, for the most part, a relatively decent experience. I didn't really notice much degradation across the board. There were, blips here and there, both on Facebook and on X and on LinkedIn, which are mainly the platforms that I use. But that's pretty much it. Now, I've been talking for a little while, and I'm really curious what happened with my stream here and why that all went offline. So I'm just going to sign off then. Thanks for anybody who came back, and not really sure why my internet service did that, but I'm going to have to go and play around with that. But that's why we test and generally don't test in production or test in live. But hey, it's live. Sometimes these things do happen. So have a great week, everybody, and I will. Hopefully have show notes for you next week, and hopefully have a couple of videos to put out this week, and hopefully my internet starts behaving again. I'm gonna go smack the rack and see what happens, and no, that wasn't a euphemism for anything. It just sounded funny coming out. I agree. And before I say anything else stupid, I'm gonna sign off now. Have a great week, and I'll see you next time on Tech for Work.